Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about how we combine all of our past maps of places that we've traveled into one gigantic map so that we can see every place that we've been, because we have been to every state in the United States and every province of Canada. And so after a while it all runs together, so it's nice to be able to have that in a overall map, and we're going to show you how we do that. Hey everybody, this is David from Tigner Adventures, and today is going to be fun because we are going to take and look back on our maps that we have created as we've traveled around the country. Now, the software that we use to do all of our mapping is called RV Trip Wizard by RV Life, and this software allows you to map out your routes ahead of time. So we're booking our things out like 6 months in advance. We have our maps made out a year in advance, and that way we can keep everything all organized and everything, and it does it all based on the height, weight, and length of our rig. But the coolest thing is that we also have little maps that we create, because there's no limit on how many maps you can create or how many stops that you can have on a map, other than maybe the memory of your computer could limit that a little bit, but I've never ran into a limit. And so we have some big maps, and today we're going to show you how we combine all of those different maps over the last 9 years into one single map, so we can ooh and ah and show people on our phone and things like that. And we also get an idea how and where we've been, because as time goes on we kind of forget. And we are full-time and we travel everywhere, but we never see everything you can see in an area. And you can live in an area all your life and never see everything. So it's not any different. In our particular case, we live in this motorhome full-time, and we travel all around. This is our home. We have no other home. This is our home. We enjoy this life so much. We have so much fun. And you know what? We're not on vacation. We are on a life journey. Now, if you look here, you can see this is our current map for our 25-26 season. And we started over here in Utah. You can see where my hand is right there. We've gone all the way around here and back around. We're currently up in this area of Minnesota. So we have traveled a long way this year. And if you look over here on the top left right here, I'll zoom in, you can see this area. We have 325 nights defined, 134 different stops, and we're almost up to 14,000 miles. Now, our trip has, when we originally started creating this trip, it was over 15,000 miles, and as time has gone on, that's gone up, that's gone down, it just keeps changing. And that's one of the things I love about Trip Wizard, is that we can modify it on the go, and it keeps track of exactly what we're doing. So it's pretty cool, and I love it, and it works out really, really well for us. So with that said, life changes, as you're going along. And we were going to be going up into Canada here in the next couple of weeks. We had to kind of alter that a little bit because my mom's having some problems, and we have to get back to Utah to help take care of her for a few days. And so we are cutting off part of our trip, and so now we're under the 14,000 mile mark because we're cutting off some things. But that's what's so cool about this software. Trip Wizard allows you to set up the site, look up sites and things like that where you want to stay, and then you can call them, make the reservation. You can put the reservation into your software here, so it tracks all the reservations, the times you're going to be there, and everything, so that if things like this do happen, it's easy enough to go back and pull those entries up, call those people, change those reservations, and it automatically updates our map. So with that said, this is the map, but we want to take this information here and save it off onto a file. And to do that, Trip Wizard has this really cool little setup over here in the top left here. It says it has this little tool wrench. And if I click on that, I get a whole list of options here that I can do to help me as far as this map is concerned. And one of those is export the trip. Now, export allows you to send out to a calendar, Excel, or a GPS export. So those of you that like to use, for example, a Garmin, I hear that all the time. Hey, I want to use my Garmin. Can I still use my Garmin? Yes, you can. You use this to do all your planning, and then you can export these waypoints out to your Garmin to do all your navigation if that's what you want to do. But remember, TripWizard has its own navigation thing, and I know some people use it and Garmin at the same time and things like that. Everybody, you know, there's no one person out there that does GPS navigation perfectly, because first of all, half the maps are all screwed up, so you never know. We got routed onto one road and we looked and there was no road there, you know, but I looked on Google and it was there, and I looked on Apple and it wasn't there, and I looked on RV Life and it was there, and it's like, now, wait, what is going on here? So, you know, you never know what you're going to get. So it's not bad to have multiple ways of routing. That's fine. And RV Life took that into account and said, you know what, we need to make sure that we have this available to people, because remember, RV Life is a company that is RVers out on the road traveling around. And so we're the ones that are doing this. And there's a lot of their employees are either out on the road right now, or they've been on the road, so they know exactly what we as RV travelers need. And so they keep that all in mind, and that's why this entry's on here. But this works out really great to our advantage as far as combining all these maps, because the GPS export, if I click on that, I have two different options there to export this out. And one of them is GPX, and the other one is CSV. Now, I haven't figured out what CSV would be good for, other than, I mean, a .csv file is to bring up in like Excel or numbers on Mac. It's so that you have it in a spreadsheet and you can see everything in a spreadsheet. That's, some people, I guess, like to do that, and it's a lot of data. I've looked at the CSV, it's like, whoa, and you know, that's a lot of data. But some people like to do their own little calculations and graphs and things like that, and that's what this allows. That it's there for that purpose. So that's pretty cool. But the piece that we're going to use is this download.gpx file, and that's what you typically would export. You'd export that out of here and then import that into your Garmin, or pretty much any other device out there that uses GPX files, okay? And most do, okay? So this means that you can export out to a, you know, for a, you know, whatever device that you actually want. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and export this out, and I'm going to show you how we combine it into this other map, and then we'll go talk about this other mapping stuff. So I'm going to do click on that, and so that just automatically downloaded that to my download directory. Okay, so that part's done there. And if you look up at the top of the screen here, I have RV Life opened here. I also have a Google Map setup opened here. I also have a GPX Studio app that I found, and I'm going to show you the benefits of that. But let me just click over here on this Google thing. Google has the ability that you can create a map and just put stuff on there to show where you've been, basically. It's a little limited on what it can do. It can only do so many layers, and so in this particular case, if you look over here on the left, I've got my layers broke up by years. And so I've got 2018 here, I've got 2019, 2020, and then you can see that as I move down through here, the colors on the right there change, because I've set up each one of these tabs with this one's yellow, this one's blue, this one's orange. So each year is broke out by different colors. And so that's pretty cool. I mean, not any one company is going to do everything, and definitely not everything perfectly, although we'd love that, because it'd be nice to be able to just subscribe to one place and just be done. But it doesn't work that way. It's hard enough to make something perfect in one area than to try to control the whole world. And I think Google's been finding that out, actually, to be truthful with you. So they really wanted to do that, but they've haven't done very well there. So they've been selling off different pieces of things. And so, but this is still here, and this is pretty cool. So it's all based on layers. So again, over here on the left, I have the different ones. And up here at the top, I can say add a layer. Now, when I add layer, and it says could not add any more layers. And that's because they have a limit of 10 layers that you can have on a map. And so what we're going to do is we're going to delete this last layer here. I was playing around with that, and this is our 2026, so I'm just going to delete that out of there. And you'll see that I have all these other layers, but now I've only got 9 layers active. So I can go ahead and add a layer without an issue. So the next step is I've got to figure out how to combine all of that information into one thing. And so if you look here, you can see I've got a few different directories here, or folders, depending on which world you're in, Windows or Mac. And the one that, if I go up here to GPX, this is where I export all the GPX ones. You'll notice that over here on the right, I have multiple in some of these years. If we drop down here to 2026, we've done a lot of different trips, and so I have multiples. Well, each one of those become a layer within Google. And so I need to figure out a way to combine those all into just be in one layer 2026. So to do that, I use this app here called GPX Studio that I found. And so this allows me to kind of manipulate those GPX files. So this is just gpx.studio. I'll put a link in the description for these two different apps that I'm using. But if I click up here, I say file, and then I say open, and then at that point I'm in my RV Life maps that I have, and I have these different categories over here, or directories, and I'm going to just click on GPX maps of all my maps. So that lists out everything, and I want to bring up here. So if I click on 2026, we're just going to highlight all of those. And basically what I want to do is I want to create these, put these all into one file. So you can see that it's got them all on here. Everything is all mapped out on this little screen right here. And along the bottom here, I have different little sections of the trip. So I got my main trip right here, 2026 trip. But then we've done little offshoot trips that we've done in the car and driven out to, in most cases, we've gone out to look at trolls, or in this particular case, I went out and bought a new laptop. So, but anyway, those are just areas that we've traveled around the country, and we got to see some sites in those particular areas. So I want to combine them all together. So if I just take this and I hold down the shift key and just click on all these, I can highlight them all, or I can just say Command all, or I think it's Control A or something like that with Windows. But anyway, you get them all selected, and then if you go down this left hand side here, this is really kind of cumbersome in a way, but if you come down here and you say merge items together, well, when you click on that, that stays there until you click there again, just so you know. So if you're trying to figure out how to get rid of it, that's just there. Okay, there's different options of merging them. You can merge with the traces, or you can merge without and keep the traces disconnected. So I'm just going to do it with the traces to begin with, so you can kind of see how it looks. But I'm going to say merge, and you'll notice that my lines have kind of gone all over the place here. And I don't really know what it's doing. I don't know how it got this line going across the middle here, because I'm not traveling that way, but that might just be a bug within their software. I'm not really sure. But if I hit undo, so Command Z, and I go in here and I select this option, it says merge, so it's the next one down, and I say merge these selections. Oh, I gotta select all these again. And I say merge these selections. Then you can see now it looks like the way it looked before, so it's all correct. And I only have one entry over here. I'm just going to go ahead and export. I just want to export this information out. All that I'm using this particular app for is just to be able to merge all that GPX data together. So it's all done. I'm just going to say file, and I'm going to say export. And this is a free tool. So if you're going to use this all the time, then they say, hey, give us a donation, help us out a little bit. And we like to do that and support these little apps that are out there, because without those, again, no one person can do everything. So it's nice to be able to support the guys that are trying to help you out there. So if you can, go ahead and donate to them. I'm just going to hit download it for this example here. It automatically sent it to my downloads directory. So I've copied it out of my download directory and I'm back into my directories here, but now I've put it into this other directory. I was in GPX of maps, but now I'm in production GPX of maps, and these are the ones that I'm actually importing into Google. And so I've copied it into here because this is a combination of everything for 2026. And then I like this little layout here as far as the naming convention. So I'm just going to click on this, and we're going to just rename this. So we'll go ahead and just delete this stuff here. And we're going to say 2026 trip, or trips, because that's kind of what I'm going by there. So all the trips that I took in 2026. And then we're going to go ahead and jump back over to our Google map here. In this case, we've got everything listed there, but we don't have anything past our 2025. And so we want to go ahead and add a layer. So we're just going to come up here and click on add layer. And then this right now is untitled. And I'm going to say import. So if I just click on import, I'm going to browse out to that production GPX maps. Here's my 2026, and I'm going to go ahead and say open that. Now, it puts it on there. It's all these red ones. And let's see. If you go over here on the left, and you can click on the side here and turn these different ones off. So I'm going to turn off everything. So all we have on here right now is just this trip, okay? So that's all that's on here, and this is all the entries all the way down here. Now you'll notice that I have red ones here, and if I zoom in a little bit, sometimes you can see that, oh yeah, there's one green one right there. So for whatever reason, I really don't understand how this is all working here particularly, but I've got the same identical thing here under all these green ones here. So what I do is I highlight these, and I just go through and I just delete all of these green ones. And I actually start down in here somewhere so I don't mess up. But I'm just going to click there. I'm going to hit delete, click, delete, click, delete, click, delete, click, delete, click. And I'm just going through this whole thing like this. This is a pain in the hind end. So I don't know how to do it any other way. It doesn't let me highlight them or anything. So all I can do is individual. So we just come up to these last couple. And there we are. The only thing that left now, yeah, when we have all these are the tie togethers that we have, so we don't want to delete those. And so there we are, we're all done with that. So now if we go here to the top, you'll notice that over here everything looks fine. So up here at the top, we're going to change this from individual style, and we're going to change it to uniform style. So what that does is that it gets rid of all that stuff that's down below here, so I don't have that anymore. And I just noticed that it kept the name, so it didn't use the file name for this. So I'm going to just click here. I'm going to go ahead and update this title here really quick, so it's really the one I want. So, and save that. So it says that. And then over here, if I look at all items, I have this little paint can over here to the right. If I click on that, right now it's all blue. If I click on that, I can change the color. I was using this color here. So you want to have a different color for each layer. And then you can put in a different icon. Now, when you're using uniform here, one icon is all you're going to get. So in this particular case, because these were all done in my motorhome, I'm going to click on motorhome. So now I got a little motorhome there. So anyway, so that's that. It's all in there. So now if I go ahead and just click on these, and this will just put them back out there again, and all of them will be in view again. So then I get the view of my whole map. So that's what I was showing you to start with. And now we have everything in there. And just to kind of show you the difference here, like on my vacation one here, you'll notice if you look up here, they're like little beds. couldn't find anything. Those are trips that we took, cruises, whatever, you know, that we've taken to different timeshares or whatever. And so we've differentiated those from all of our RV travels. So it gives us a good way to kind of just break it all out. And then that way, now if I just look at that, I can bring that up on my phone and I can show people kind of what's going on with it and everything. So, you know, it's kind of a cool little thing, and it's nice because I can zoom in here and say, hey, have we driven through this particular area? And it has the little connectors between each one of these places. So we have a pretty good idea. It's not following the roads in this particular case, but we have a pretty good idea what we've driven through before. So you can notice that right here in the middle of the country right here, next year we're gonna kind of cover this area, St. Louis and through Kansas City here and everything. So we're gonna kind of cover this area a little more, but this area here, we haven't really done much in. So we've been in all those states, but we haven't really covered those states as much as we could because there's some cool things out there to do. But I can now get a pretty good idea where we've been and what we've seen over time. And then even over here in California, we've been very limited on what we've done in California. And so it kind of gives me an overall view of what's happening, and it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty great. And, you know, I appreciate that Google does have this little map thing here. This has kind of changed over time too, but this is their newest version of it, and I like it. It works pretty good, and we can kind of tie all that together. I wish they'd do more layers, but since they can't, then my next step is for, you know, when we get to next year's overlay, I'll start combining some of the other trips and just kind of name it like old trips, you know, and just delete some of those layers and combine those GPXs together because I'm keeping those all in one directory. So anyway, again, you know, if you are not using RV Trip Wizard from RV Life, please check it out because it's something that's well worth it. If not, just taking care of your rig and navigating down the road safely based on your height, weight, and length. It's there for planning purposes. It's there for, you know, just keeping track of everything. So it's easy to plan, but it's easy to get lost too. If you're trying to keep track of everything on a spreadsheet, it's easy to forget where you're at and not make certain entries correctly and things like that. RV Life, the Trip Wizard setup there, it's all visual. You can see exactly what's going on. And if you use our code, you save 25% off the first year of your subscription. And so that's really a benefit also. So we do appreciate the support of you guys watching this video. Give us a thumbs up, please. Like it. If you're on a cell phone, if you're watching this on your phone, I guess they have the new hype option on there. Hype it. We appreciate whatever you can do. I don't even understand what the difference between thumbs up and hype is. If you have a different way of doing this, or you think of different ways, or you know how to run some of these apps better than I do, feel free to make comments and send me messages and stuff. And I mean, that's what we're here for. We all learn from each other. So hopefully this has been a benefit for you, and hopefully you enjoy this mapping stuff because it's a lot of fun. And we'll just plan on seeing you on the next video or somewhere down the road, but that's it for now. So take care. See you. Bye.